Hello, Flames, and welcome to the inaugural episode of the Forever Aflame podcast, where we will talk with Lee alums and friends of Lee and get to hear their story, how Lee impacted and transformed their life, what they're doing now, and how they're making a difference in their job, in their family, in their community, and for the kingdom of God. So for our inaugural episode, we thought, who better than the president of Lee University? That still sounds so great to say. You don't get tired
Carman.
of hearing that.
Man,
Dr. Phil Cook is our guest.
Well, and figure if it's an inaugural episode, we've had an inauguration. I've got my inauguration pin. I wear it every day. I actually have it tattooed on my chest, too. No, I don't. No, I don't. But yeah, I'm glad to be here. I do fit the criteria of a Lee alum.
That's right.
I do fit the criteria, I think, of trying to do things to impact the kingdom and, of course, Lee. So I'm honored to be here. Thanks for having me.
You mentioned that inauguration pin.
Yes.
I get comments on that all the time. When I wear that, everybody wants it. We need to start, getting those out there. People love the inaugural pins.
Well, I loved it. I actually told former president, Dr. Paul Kahn, and current chancellor, I said, Dr. Kahn, I don't, inauguration, that feels very self-serving. I don't want, and he said, it's not about you, Phil. It's about the institution.
That's right.
Inauguration is not about the person. It's about the university, about where we're going. So that got me fired up right away. So, of course, the answer was yes. And so, the whole thing was a good day. It was a great day. But inaugurations don't work without our students. So the best part of that day, I think the speech was okay. I don't know if I think it was all right. We had outstanding music. As you will recall, the We Believe medley, which I love. That's part of what we're trying to keep watching for that, because you're going to hear that to our folks. We're going to hear that We Believe mantra over the next couple of years as we look to the future. But the students make those days great. It was a great inauguration. It's been a great semester. We're off to a great start.
So, Dr. Cook, I want you to take us back. Okay, This time last year. 365 days, which has got to feel like, in some ways, a blink of an eye, and in some ways, maybe it feels like 10 years for you.
Yeah.
But if you will, just kind of take us through this last year. This time last year, you're working for a great organization. You're leading a great organization that's making a difference in Christian higher education. But there's some things on the horizon, and just take us through all of the emotions, all of the decisions that led you to sitting on this couch right here tonight.
Well, I will say it's almost 365 days to the day that I sent an email inquiring of the Presidential Search Committee to find out what the status was. And I had a couple people reach out to me, and they were kind. But there were a lot of wonderful, outstanding candidates. As I recall, 79 people in the process, narrowing that list down to a smaller group to navigate to where there were 12 semifinalists and 4 finalists. But a year ago to the day, I'm in Fort Wayne, Indiana. You been to Fort Wayne, Indiana before?
I have. Carman? My wife's family's from Indianapolis, Greenwood.
Oh, cool.
We're Midwestern to the core.
You are Midwestern, although you can take the Cleveland guy out of Cleveland, but you can't take the Cleveland, Ohio.
Off the shores of Lake Erie.
But I will say this, you can't take the Cleveland, Tennessee out of the guy either.
Come on now.
Let me tell you, Fort Wayne was great. Leading NACAP, the North American Coalition for Christian Admissions Professionals. We're helping 400 member institutions all around the country, Christian college universities, outstanding institutions, Christian high schools, individual members, leaders in the industry. I loved it, but you know what it wasn't? It wasn't Lee.
Yeah.
And it wasn't Cleveland. It wasn't Tennessee. I grew up in Pennsylvania, but spent 32 years here in Cleveland. So 1 year ago to this day, I'm sure it was cold in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Oh, no
The
doubt.
likelihood that there was snow was probably pretty high. But I was just wondering and praying about, could God orchestrate the events in our lives the next 365 days for us to be sitting here. So we were hopeful. We were prayerful. But what I did say was, I've said to a few people, I was interviewing and training for this job for 30 years, Carman.
Yeah.
So to be back here at our alma mater, at our home, it not only feels right, but when I think about it, when I think about what we're trying to do, I hope and believe it's the right thing for our university, for our current students, for our faculty, staff, and all our alums.
Well, you're such a big part, in my role as the Alumni Relations Director, I get to connect with our alums all the time. Mm-hmm. And so many people associate their Lee experience with Dr. Kahn being president and Phil Cook being the person that just really drew them to that place. That was your role, obviously, as an enrollment vice president for enrollment. And you're out there, you're the face, you're selling the institution. But so many of our alums, I mean, we heard from so many, I mean, right out of the gate when they, even when, they found out you were interested in
made
the
me
job,
a little nervous.
They start, I mean, you had, because if you ever want to go into politics, I think you've got some people.
Well, you know what? It was organic. People were surprised.
No, very organic.
In January, just a month from now, Lee made a post on Facebook, as you might recall, and the question, they just gave an update. Here's what's going on. And it was uncomfortable, but it was invigorating.
Sure. I
wasn't meaning to be diminish anyone else, but it was an organic from the alums and current students, so it was wonderful. Two things. I will say, first of all, I've sat on a couch in this room, but stools, for a long time with me and Dr. Kahn.
Yeah.
And during the COVID pandemic, we would do updates and we'd talk about what was going on campus, and it was the PC show. It was a PC squared or 2PC, whatever you want to call it. It was Paul Kahn and Phil Cook, P. Kahn and P. Cook. We talked about that a lot, right? So for 28 years, I felt like it was my mission to serve and to support the leader on campus. We all did that. You did that as well. We all did that, right? But I also embrace the opportunity that I had to tell the Lee story to thousands of students. We were out of town this past week with some Lee alums, and somebody said this to me: when you think about the transition, this most recent transition from Paul Kahn to Phil Cook, this person said, I was telling my friend, is there anybody who cares for and loves Lee University as much as Paul Kahn? And this person said, yep, Phil Cook does. So that my belief in this place, I do believe in what's happened here. Lee changed my life, but it's not just about what happened in my life, nor my siblings. My mom came to Lee for 1 year. She loved her 1 year at Lee in the 60s. She thinks it was the best era of Lee when she had to wear dresses on campus, no makeup, chaperones on dates, all of that era of Lee. She loved it for 1 year.
Yeah.
So I used to get her Vindagua out, Carman. And I would look through that Vindagua and look at the names of these people that went to Lee. And it was like, you remember Dead Poet Society?
Yeah.
Do you? Are
Carpe
you young?
diem.
Come on, man. Seize the day. So there's this, the scene when Robin Williams has the students there and they're at the trophy case.
Yeah.
Great and he has them lean up to it and he's behind them. And he says, you can hear them whispering and calling your name. Yeah. Well, I didn't hear them saying Carpe Diem. I didn't hear them saying Seize the Day. But that yearbook jumped off the pages to me. And so my mom had a great experience. My kids had a great experience. My three adult children. And what's going on right now, this is the best time to be at Lee. And that's the story we want to tell everybody every day. And that's why we're doing this podcast, because we're committed and believing that the best days of Lee University are ahead of us.
You know how I remember that scene? Yeah. Dead Poet Society, great movie.
Yes.
Robin Williams in there, outstanding movie. But Dr. Kahn preaches that sermon in chapel, and I've heard him, a few times over the years. He shows that clip, and he talks about.
I'm pretty sure I can quote many of Dr. Kahn's sermons as I think
about
it, which is a good thing, because how serious he took chapel.
Yeah.
How serious took faith development for our students. So he is the exemplar, and you're right, he does that work.
That's where
they
it
played
stuck
that scene.
Yep,
that's
absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, we talked about the inauguration weekend. Okay,
yes.
You'd mentioned that with the pin, and there were so many great events during that weekend. I mean, you had the student wall, the student chapel on Thursday. You had Thursday night, we had dinner with special friends and family in Walker Arena. We had the inauguration itself, which is with the pomp and circumstance and your speech and the music, and it just invigorates everybody. And then the student wall is such a special thing that we do as a part of our celebrations in the past, but and the inauguration. So I got to ask you though, and I'm sure people are wondering, okay, all of those great events.
Yeah.
What was your favorite part?
Yeah. Two things, right? I've been asked this before. Two things. Well, three things. I love the student wall. In fact, the student celebration after chapel on Thursday. This particular group of students, I don't know them, because I've been gone for 4 years, a generation of Lee. But man,
you know how weird that is, not to interrupt you, but you know how weird it is for like me to run into a freshman or somebody or a sophomore, and they were like, Yeah,
Who's this
Dr.
guy?
Cook's a new, like, they don't know you. And I'm like, how do you not know who
28
Phil
years,
Cook is?
plus his 4 years as student, 32 years.
Right.
So there was that, but it also fires me up and gets me to accept the challenge to serve those students well.
Yeah.
This is all about serving students.
Absolutely.
This is the whole thing. It's about preparing them for their career, preparing for their vocation, but also for the calling, what God's called them to do. So the student wall after the student chapel on Thursday, and I don't want to make you uncomfortable, Carman, but I was asked ahead of time, what's your walkout song? And I picked Renegade by Styx because I'm a Pittsburgh Steeler fan.
Nightmares of that.
And when you're a Cleveland Browns fan, you have nothing to cheer for or be optimistic about. The Steelers don't have a lot to cheer about lately.
Got more than we do.
But we have more than you do. So when I'm driving up there, I hear them playing Renegade, and I'm like, somebody thought ahead about what, for me? So there's a little bit of imposter syndrome going on. I'm not going to shy away from that. So that was a neat moment. But two things in the inauguration. My 3 adult children were on stage with me, giving me the Bible.
Special. Yeah.
So when my kids are reading a prayer, and I'm standing up there with them because we loved Lee. We love Lee. But I'm not sacrificing my family at the altar of Lee University.
Yeah.
I'm not sacrificing my family at the altar of any ministry or any job because it's faith, family, and then Lee for me. So we've tried to do that for many years. But my children were all in, and they knew this was a wonderful moment. So my kids being up there, but my favorite moment was just before that when our board chair, Wade Lombard, my boss, read a declaration and put the medal around. And I turned to look, and there were people standing, but there was a wave and of ovation coming from the stage, from the students, most of whom I don't know, but we'd already just been at it for a few weeks, but we're optimistic and energized, and we're all gas and no break in this thing.
Yeah.
It was the organic and natural ovation that came from behind me that went out to the crowd. It was the students' response. That was my favorite part of the day. And I wasn't too mad about how Dr. Khan did the introduction as well, but it was a wonderful weekend. It was the great catalyst and impetus for all we want to do because we do believe in Lee, because we believe in the Lord, the power of the Holy Spirit, and what he's doing on our campus. So it's easy for me to believe in Lee because of my experience, but it's even more easy for me to believe because of the faculty and staff that we have on campus today, not in our past, but what happens right now. So it was a great weekend, and I'm grateful to be sitting here today celebrating that inauguration.
You mentioned Dr. Khan. Of course, we've got the Dr. Khan bobblehead. You mentioned that there's also a one-of-one collector's item.
One of one. There's a bobblehead, and the United Way of the Ocoee region here in Cleveland, I was board chair there. And when you move away, in those days, they'd give the outgoing board chair a bobblehead. It's got the gap in my teeth. It's got the bald head. It's a little disconcerting. But yeah, there's a bobblehead over there somewhere in my office.
So Dr. Khan, obviously you referenced him and how much he means to you. So take me through that moment when, and I know obviously that's a private moment.
Sure.
You and Tanya are there.
Yeah.
Dr. Khan and Mrs. Khan are there. But right before you take over as president, it had to be in some ways surreal for you to be sitting there, but also just the excitement for you to be able to be handed that mantle from a man like Dr. Khan.
Yeah. I've heard it said in terms of succession and leadership that you never want to follow the guy. You want to follow the guy that follows the guy. Yeah. Some people talk about that. But I dreamed and prayed what it would be like for someone to follow and succeed Paul Kahn and continue to serve Lee well, because there's too much good and too much positive went on for it not to happen. One other inauguration moment, after Dr. Kahn introduced me before the speech, we practiced the walk across the stage. And right before we went on stage, he said, "Phil, I'm going to hug you." I said, "I'm going to linger in the hug, sir." So we had this moment on stage where we're hugging, because there is a respect. My life was very Kahn-centric for 28 years. You know, sometimes people joke pejoratively about a campus where Christ is king. You know, maybe people won't think this is funny, but some people would say, is a campus where Kahn is king, or what would Kahn do? Well, that's who we were. Yeah. And that's driving what went on for many, many years. But it also was the springboard for, in 1986, when he became president, not too many people believed in that Lee College.
Right.
It was the enrollment was struggling. The campus was in deterioration. There wasn't a lot of positive optimism about Christian college and higher ed. Well, sounds a little familiar. I believed in Lee because Paul Kahn believed in Lee. So that was a part of it. We had a lunch on July 1st with Paul and Darlia Khan and Phil and Tanya Cook. And we're sitting at the table, and this is an intimate moment, but I've shared it publicly before, and hopefully Dr. Khan won't be too frustrated with me, but there's a medallion, there's a medal that one wears when she or he is president of a university. And Dr. Khan pulled it out at the end of this 2.5-hour lunch, and he said, "Phil, before I give this to you, I want you to look me in the eye and say, 'My name is Phil Cook. I'm the president of Lee University.'" I looked at my wife, and she gave me one of these. I looked at Mrs. Khan, Darlia, and she said, and I said it to him. So these special moments mean so much because of how much I revere and respect what has been done here. We're going to honor every day, Carman. We're going to lead the parade for those, not just Paul Khan, but what about the other folks who have given their lives to Lee? What about Terry Cross, who just announced his transition from the dean role? For 23 years, he has labored, a warrior, and trained and invested in students for more than 2 decades. You know, what about people that have gone before? Evelyn Eccles, who worked there 50 years, or Don Bowdle, or what about the person that's cutting the grass that's been doing it, Jack Higgins, who was an electrician for 40 years? Man, we stand on their shoulders, so it's easy for me to get fired up to say we honor them by continuing to serve and working as hard as we can to make Lee the best university in the world, and anybody watching needs to know that, but we pray and rely on God's presence and His Holy Spirit to infuse all that we're doing. So there were some special moments with Dr. Khan, and there continue to be as we continue to transition in this role.
You know, organizations talk a lot, teams, athletic teams, organizations, churches, universities talk a lot about culture, okay? Everybody has their definition of what that looks like, and people have their catchphrases, and this is culture. The Lee culture, in your opinion, if you could summarize that, what does it mean to be a Lee Flame?
So we didn't prep for this, to have questions in the moment. So this is my...
No, yeah, you didn't know I was going to ask this question. No.
Well, I didn't know any of the questions, and I love it because it's real.
Right.
Real recognizes real. You know, I'm a Gen Xer. Are you a Gen Xer?
Yeah, 80. Well, no, I would be a millennial. Millennial, 86. I turned 40.
Millennials, old. Well, I'm not 40. I got more years in the rear view than I do the windshield because I'm 56, but I'm a young 56. In dog years, in leading university at this position, it takes a lot already. In one semester, we have been all gas and no brakes, but I need to stop at a gas station over the Christmas holiday and get a little gas and get a little refueled. But you're right. There's all kind of catchphrases. I've heard someone say it's the air you breathe on a campus. It's the water you swim in. I've heard in terms of organizational success, people say it's what you allow to happen, let people do or not do that defines your culture. But in the last few months, I've been meeting with the Lee Faculty Council, the representatives from every department. Here are the phrases they've been using to describe the Lee culture. Teaching focused, spirit infused, intellectually curious. They talk about a Pentecostal hospitality, that we are people. I've been the other. I grew up in Pennsylvania, but my parents are from West Virginia. So we were from the mountains. And so, you know, the Pentecostals were the people over across the tracks.
Other side of the track,
They're the poor people. They're the crazies, the holy rollers. So it had put in me a natural affinity and a culture for Lee to respect the other, to respect the disenfranchised, to respect, you know, the fastest growing part of the evangelical Christian church is Pentecostal charismatics, but it's around the world.
Right.
So in other countries, you're seeing this revival and growth because mainline denominations may look down their nose at the Pentecostals. So Lee is a big tent. We're a place that honors all sorts of students from all kind of backgrounds. But the spirit infused, the teaching focused, the research or practice informed, the intellectual curiosity, the Pentecostal hospitality that says, anyone can come here and be welcome here as we point you to follow Jesus. Yeah. That's what I've been thinking about when I think of the Lee culture. But there is something about excellence. We can't do things halfway, Carman. We got to do things really, really well. We can't have an excuse. We can't make F's for Jesus. We can't just let the Holy Spirit teach us. We've got to work hard. It's our responsibility in worship to do so. But we will always rely on a Christ-centered focus that the Lord will guide everything that we do. This is the Lee culture, growth, momentum, not being satisfied or content with the status quo, growth, momentum, inertia, up and to the right. That's the Lee culture, and we're working hard every day to remind everybody of that, of who we are.
Let's go. I'm fired up. I'm ready to run through a wall right now.
I'm ready, and I was going to say,
Coach.
the rumors of our demise, Carman, have been greatly over-exaggerated.
That's right.
There's a remnant on our campus. There are still 3,700 students on our campus. We're one of the largest Christian universities still in the United States. And the 2,300 undergraduates and the 350 graduate students and the 500 faculty and staff that are on our campus every day, they need to be reminded of who we are. We are Lee University, and our spirit of excellence and the focus that we have on serving students, in my opinion, it's unmatched. There's no place like Lee, and for me, there's been no place like home.
I got to tell you, a great example of that. So I got a chance, thanks to you and Dr. Khan, this past summer to go to Taikua, a Taikua conference for mid-level leaders in institutions, young leaders, and growing in their role. And it's the Tennessee Independent College and University Association. Did I get that right?
That's
so for those of you that don't know what Taikua is.
Shout out Taikua.
Shout out to Taikua. So I got to go to this. I've just got to tell you, because you mentioned that, the sense of pride I got when I said, I'm Carman Lastoria from Lee University. And there was the direct, Dr. Casey or
Cam Khan.
Cam Khan.
Her name's Khan.
So yeah,
Cameron Khan.
Oh, Lee University. Everybody else you talk to, oh, you're from Lee University.
That's right.
There's that spirit of excellence that people recognize.
That's right.
And we've worked hard for them to recognize that. And then when I was in athletics, and I would go to these Gulf South Conference, NCAA convention, NCAA convention, all the presidents, all the athletic directors, from the big schools to the small schools, Lee University, they recognize.
And you point out, even in athletics, 5 years running,
right,
the best athletic program in a conference with large state schools.
One of the toughest conferences in Division
in
II.
the country, the SEC of D2, I would argue. We've been leading that with excellence. I was a little bit late for this recording because I had a meeting with a CEO of a hospital here in Hamilton County. They've got some things they're doing here in Bradley County, and he walks across our campus and he says, "This place is beautiful."
Yeah.
There is an excellence in the buildings, but there's an excellence in the people that make the difference. So our faculty, our staff, our students make the difference that sets us apart for what we're doing. But and we've got Dr. Khan's bobblehead on the table. We're talking about him as the leader, but there are hundreds and hundreds of women and men who also exude this Christ-centered excellence that have made this place unique. And so we took our cue from him. We followed him as the leader, but we invested in it fully. We believed in Lee. And again, I'm here in this role on this podcast, working with you for raising money for alumni giving,
That's right,
for friends that were capital campaigns that we're doing. We're finishing up the engineering building, that campaign that we're finishing up. But all that to remind people that this is a place of excellence and God's hand is on Lee, and it will continue to be as we look to the future.
Speaking of that, can I ask you one more question?
Sure.
I'm enjoying this conversation so much that we're,
Have we already? Is our time up
I don't
already?
know what our time is. I'm getting a look from Stephanie right now.
That says, wrap it up, Joe Rogan.
Which they do
By the
such
way,
great
if I'm
work.
bald,
Shout
I'm
out
Joe
to-
Rogan. So that means you're what? You're Elon Musk, maybe. Oh, maybe the other way
What?
around.
I don't know. I would like to
have his money.
have either one of the money.
I got my mind on my money
I would
and
be
my
good
money
to
on my
Lee
mind.
and
There
good
you
to
go.
the church in Jesus' name.
Come on, let's go.
Okay, final question.
Yes, sir.
The future.
Yeah.
As we look to the future, obviously so much has been accomplished just within the past year as Lee continues to move forward. But what are some maybe 30,000-foot view of where we're going? What's on your heart? And you addressed some of this in the inaugural address, and certainly it's been laid out and a vision has been casted to our staff and our faculty and our current students and prospective students. But your vision for the future.
Well, first of all, I said to in the interview process, people asked me that, and I said, well, first of all, it's not my vision. It's our vision. It's a faculty who understand what they're the experts in this. I know that. I have respect for that. So it's a collective vision that must be driven by what we're doing. But we're talking about we're putting the finishing touches on a campaign for the engineering building. We're moving dirt over there. We've got footers poured. We're building a new building. For so many years, people saw progress as a new building. We build a new building every year, it seemed. So once we finish the engineering building, I'm very well aware of why I'm in this seat, Carman, and hope this kind of candor is welcomed or not. I'm not sure. I'm sure we'll see in the comments down below. Who knows? Comment, like, and share. But anyway, I'm in this seat because of enrollment. I'm aware. I'm in this seat, I think, pretty sure because of my affinity and love for Lee and belief in Lee. Hopefully because I understand the church relationships very clearly of what we're doing. I'm a product. As I recall, one of the phrases from the inauguration was, "You have risen from among us." I am a Lee guy in that regard. So where are we going? Well, we want to go up and to the right for enrollment. I've mentioned that we've got to grow. For growth's sake, no, not for that, but because the student's life that is out there who needs to be impacted by what we're doing here can't be changed if she's not enrolled here.
That's right.
She can't go to nursing and be like my daughter-in-law, who's a wonderful nurse, or my niece, who's an attorney down in Hamilton County. They can't be impacted by Lee unless they enroll her. So we've got to enroll more students. But once we get the engineering building built, in terms of campus expansion, campus development, well, we've got academic buildings, we've got residence halls, we need to fill them. That's the vision right now. We're going to fill them and have more and more people be here. But what about, our rec center's been around for 30 years, Carmen. We need a new rec center. We've outgrown that. Yeah. What about a performing arts building called the Con Center that is dated? It's beautiful. We have chapel there. It's beautiful. What about a dining hall that's already at capacity? What about athletic buildings, athletic facilities that we have on campus? What about student scholarships and programs? What about new academic programs? Yeah. Do we have the vision? Do we have the capacity to dream about students going to a med school or a law school at Lee? I don't know. The point is, we're going somewhere. Yeah. And I want our alums, I want our staff and faculty and students to know, come on, let's go with it. We'll create that dream together. We'll get it from the faculty, staff, and students, and then we'll lead the charge to into the future what God has planned for us. Again, at the same time, while believing in the transformative work of the power of the gospel. That's at the core of what we do. We must impact students' lives, heal, restore, deliver, set free. We're not a church that can have revival, because you can have revival at home for free. You're paying for tuition to come here. Yep. So we want you to get ready for your academic career, but we also want to know what God's plan for your life is. Those things are not mutually exclusive. That's the vision. That's the dream for where Lee is going. And we want all our alums and our friends to be a part of that with us.
Let's go. Let's do it.
On the line. Where's the whistle? Let's go. Everybody run.
That's the word you use, transformational.
That's it.
That's the distinguishing characteristic. There's a lot of great schools out there, a lot of great Christian schools. Yeah. But when you come to Lee University, I experienced it. Yeah. You experienced it. Over almost 50,000 alums worldwide experience.
That's right.
It's a transformational experience.
The schools around the country that I've been doing the last few years, they would say, if you took the talking points, how do you distinguish ours from anybody else's?
Yeah.
Because they sound the same. Faculty, low faculty, student ratio, faculty that care, great programs, Christ-centered environment. Here's the difference. Our people.
Right.
It's our people that are investing every day. Not disparaging anybody else, because there are a lot of great people I've met in the past 4 years, but they're not our people. They're not, don't look Justin Walker in the eyes, because if you do, you'll become a theology major.
That's right.
You know, it's the nursing program that is re-energized with the work that Amy Jo Perry's doing. I could name names across the board. It's our people that make the difference. We think our people are excellent, and it drives all the work that we're doing.
Maybe we could sum it up like this. There's no place like home.
Come on, man. All right, Dorothy and Toto, let's go.
Good to have you home.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Carmen.
All right, let's take a short break. On the other side of the break, Dr. Cook, staying on the couch, we're going to give you 3 things that we think you will care about here at Lee. We're going to title it 3 at Lee. Every podcast episode, you're going to get 3 things, campus updates that we think might be of importance to you. So stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Forever Aflame podcast. We're here with Lee University President Dr. Phil Cook. Dr. Cook, thanks so much for that discussion. Really enjoyed your transparency, your energy, your excitement, and boy, we're excited for the future.
Thank you very much. Happy to do it.
So this segment's called 3 at Lee. These are 3 things that we think you may care about, or some highlights around our campus. So let's start with number 1. Number one. Engineering building.
Yeah.
So give us an update, Dr. Cook. Where are we at? Dirt's being moved. Some exciting things happening. When are we going to cut the ribbon? What's going on? Lots of people are excited about the engineering building. We've had so much great support from alumni and friends to make this possible, and we're excited about this.
Yeah, so mark your calendars now for friends, alums, everyone, for next homecoming. We're going to have Celebration 2026 and homecoming together.
Let's go.
When we will celebrate, cut the ribbon on the engineering building, also the Debbie Murray Garden and Columbarium. All of those things together will celebrate those that's going on. A very successful fundraising campaign that Dr. Khan led for us, nearing $19 million already. The building, $15 million, the engineering building, also what we call To Will and To Do, because we want all our alums and friends to come back and visit our brand new Welcome Center, Carman.
If you haven't seen
We
it.
renovated the whole administration building.
Incredible.
We had a consultant on campus, arguably the leading campus tour consultant in the country in higher education, not higher education. He's a Lee alum. He said, never seen a Welcome Center like this anywhere on campus. It's beautiful.
Incredible.
It's stunning. It's warm. So come to campus. We'll dedicate that and we'll show that to you. But that To Will and To Do, an engineering campaign, almost 19 million, still got some meat on the bone, still got some opportunities out there that Dr. Khan and the University Relations team and the President's Office are working together to deliver. So engineering up and running, new building in the fall of 2026.
If you are interested in donating, call 440-725-0890. That's my cell phone. I don't sleep. I don't take vacations. Call me anytime.
Carman, just give out your cell phone. I love it. Hey, my number is 423-310-1149. Call either one of us.
Listen, we're accessible.
We're not afraid, man.
We're not
Let's
afraid.
go.
Here's another cool story that alums may or may not have seen. A couple of months ago, current Lee men's golfer Drew Zielinski. Unique opportunity here, Dr. Cook. So, big tournament down in South Carolina. The individual winner of that Division II tournament, first time they've ever done this, was going to get an exemption to play on the PGA Tour, professional golf tournament.
Yeah.
Our very own Drew Zielinski from Lee University won that tournament. Bennett McNabb, his teammate, who actually caddied for him at the event, he finished second. So two Lee players. One stroke off. How about that? So, of course, he invites Bennett to be his caddy. So Drew Zielinski, a current Lee University golfer, became the first ever NCAA Division II current NCAA Division II athlete to play in a professional golf tournament. He represented Lee great down in Bermuda. This was back in November, but an incredible story. So very proud of Drew. Our men's golf team, Dr. Cook, #1 in the nation as we go into the spring season here. So your thoughts on Drew? I know you're very proud of the Lee athletic department. By the way, you are. Many people may not know this.
Say less.
You are a Lee Athletic Hall of Famer.
I am. And for the reason, talking into a microphone.
There you go.
That's what I did, starting at guard, a 5'6" senior, whatever.
Come on now.
So did that for a few years. Very proud of Drew. Very proud of athletics program in general. Very proud of athletic director John Maupin, who is the only current coach at Lee to coach a team D2 national champion. We've had individual award winners in track and field, but our men's golf team won a national championship a few years ago.
Yep.
But now the number 1 ranked team in the country. Drew goes down there and, again, as you said, beats his teammate by 1 stroke. So if he didn't win, another Lee player, another Lee student
we had
would
it
have
covered.
been there. But he goes down there and misses the cut by just a few strokes.
Yeah, played well.
And from all accounts, everything I know about Drew and Coach Spence, the whole team, representing us so very well. So, yeah, when we talk about doing things with excellence, that means sports.
Yeah.
That means playing to win. You know, what did Ricky Bobby say? The runner-up's the first loser. Ain't nobody got time for that. We're trying to win. And so we're proud of Drew. We're proud of our athletic programs, and it's another touch point that gets visibility out there in the space that people see. When they think of Lee University, they think excellence. They think things that are doing really, really well on our campus, and it's our athletics as well.
If you want to find out more about that story, pick up the winter edition of The Torch. If you don't get The Torch, call 440-725-0890. We'll make sure you get the latest edition of The Torch. By the way, you referenced that national championship. I got a chance, in my former career in athletics.
That's right.
To be there and cover that event back in 2022. Such a cool moment.
And as if I'm remembering correctly, I was in Indiana at the time. I had left, but I'm pretty sure we played a team from Oklahoma in the championship.
Oklahoma Christian.
I was
great program, great athletic program.
So was teasing their enrollment folks that they didn't win when I was there. And it seems to me, if you got to go to that national championship, any president worth his salt would have been in Bermuda with Drew for the tournament.
That's right.
But I didn't make that happen. What was that all about?
You should have been there. You should have been there.
That's my first big mistake of the whole semester.
You'll have some other opportunities to go down to those nice places. All right, final 3 at Lee campus highlights. Dr. John Coach, you mentioned the faculty. We've got the best faculty anywhere. I know we're biased, but the truth is the truth, right?
That's right.
And Dr. Coates is an amazing historian, amazing professor of political science, humanities, and he wrote a book that we think that our alums would love to read and friends of Lee would love to read. And his book is titled Lee University, The Path from Church of God Bible Training School to Modern University, and it really is a great encapsulation of the Lee story and the Lee history. And of course, Dr. Coates, such a gifted writer, puts this all on paper, and it's fascinating.
Walking across campus today after a meeting and ran into John and his wife, it was neat to run into him, and how proud we are of him for writing this. He's not a Lee alum, but he's been here for so long that he's one of us.
Yeah.
But he has the objectivity and the academic discipline and the skill set to write a history that is accurate, that is fair, that talks about all the issues from a university that was a Bible training school. That is our roots. That's who we are. We embrace that, but to say a modern, thriving, Christ-centered, Spirit-led Christian university. So we're very proud of the book. It's published by the University of Tennessee at Knoxville Press, an external press that did that. So we're very proud of Dr. Coates, chair of the history department at Lee. I was telling him today about my niece. My niece gets into law school because of Bob Barnett and John Coates.
Yeah.
Because of their investment in her. And he's a Baylor alum. My niece is a Baylor law alum. So that's the kind of faculty we have who are excellent in the classroom, but also excellent, and this is a demonstration of the work that he does. He writes this history that is the history of Lee. Again, that's accurate, it's outstanding, it's robust, and we commend it to everyone to be a part of it. And we're going to celebrate that in the coming semester as well. Dr. Coates, excellent work.
I've got a funny Dr. Coates story from when I was a student. You want to hear it real quick?
Let's hear it.
We're running out of time. So Dr. Coates, he'd only been here a couple of years. I was probably a junior. I was in Chi, and a couple of the Chi guys, we saw this class was being offered, History of Sports in America.
Nice. I'm ready to sign up for it.
So that's my class. That's our class. Yeah, that's a no-brainer. We're going to ace that, no problem. We get into the class, and it didn't take us long to realize this is a senior-level history class. There was tons of writing. No names, please, but a couple of those Chi brothers of mine had to drop out of the class because they were failing. Now, I did. I think I got.
Stay with it?
I stayed with it. I got a B+.
There you go.
But it was a lot of writing. I wrote a research paper on Pete Rose. Should he be in the Hall of Fame?
What was the verdict?
Yes.
Yeah, but you're from Ohio, so you're a little biased.
He should be in the Hall of Fame. Talked about Shoeless Joe Jackson, and that's. But anyway, Dr. Coates was the teacher, and it was a great class, but we thought we were going in there just going to, hey, who won the 1985 World Series?
Right.
Yeah,
I signed up for that class now, by
St.
the
Louis
way.
Cardinals.
Because a frustrated athlete. Again, meritorious Hall of Famer, not a real one.
Intramural legends, though, me and you.
Come on, I majored in it for a couple years. But the fact is, what was your degree in from Lee?
Christian education.
Okay, but you're right. That class goes on to where you're doing sports media, sports journalism, and you're writing. So, one might argue that was a pretty important class and that you did so well. I'm not at all surprised, and I'm not surprised that Dr. Coates could take a class like that and make it robust and hard.
It was fantastic.
But also enjoyable.
It was fantastic. This conversation was fantastic. Thank you so
very
much,
Carman.
We couldn't think of a better guest to kick off the inaugural episode of the Forever Flame podcast. And here's the treat: this will not be your last appearance. You're going to be on here quite a bit.
Here's the goal. I don't want to push on Carmen, but we want to tag team some of this. We're going to be coming to our guest alums that we're proud of and making connections and relationships to tell the Lee University story. We're doing that every day, and I'm pleased to be a part.
Thanks so much, Dr. Cook. Until next time, this has been the Forever Aflame podcast. Make sure you share it, download it, follow us wherever you download your podcast. We would love to hear from you, and we look forward to some more episodes where we highlight some great alumni stories and friends of Lee University. Until then, go Flames.